Okay, we are back to working on WikiDeck here. When I was last working on this, that is in this particular video, this refresher video here, I was creating this beta testing milestone. Actually, I think I was calling it v.1.0.0 at the time, but I've changed it to beta testing, in case anyone's interested. So I have two issues that exist in this milestone at the moment, and we're going to try and tackle both of them today. That does not mean this milestone will be finished. We will be adding more issues to this milestone once I've made this application available for all of you, dear viewers, to test. I'll hope that you will report your issues right here in the milestone, but today we are going to try and get these things done. First, we're going to do this infinite loop of connecting to the database. That was the problem we were running into last time, where I would make a request to the server and it would just sit there waiting. I believe it was trying to connect to the database, which I'll show you in a moment. But really the goal here is to get that application to respond to us. I think that it wasn't responding because it was entering this infinite loop, so we're going to try and get it to give us a full response. This is going to be the one we are trying to address, and our first thing to do in trying to do that is going to be this one. So what I'm going to do is open up this issue, and I'm going to be a bit superfluous with the way that I'm doing this by creating a pull request and linking issues and things, but really I want to show you how I like to work on this project and how I'm hoping that other people will work on this project as well. So I need to... Can you not see it? Where is it? There we go. This. I want to... No, is it not that? Where is it? You're supposed to be able to create a pull request off of it. Where is that? Thought you were going to be able to create a pull request or a branch off of the issue. Do I need to have this in the full screen mode to see all of the options? That sometimes is a problem. There is a button somewhere for this, I know it. Oh well, we're not going to waste too much time on that. I'll just create my own. Thank you, Market News, Mastodon Social. I'll do the same. So I'll just do that manually instead. I'm going to copy the name of this branch, and I am going to create over here now I see why I wasn't able to do that. Can I just do that? Oh, what to call the branch. I'm going to delete it anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But I always get stuck on things like this. Can we just call it develop? I'll delete it later. It doesn't matter what I call it. So on this branch, I am going to, let's just go straight into, the first thing I want to do is actually just add some logging. So I pulled up the docs for logs, and I'm going to, I use Vim as my text editor. We're going to look at WikiDeck mine database.py. And hey, ET, welcome. Today I'm working on my WikiDeck project. This is the blockchain I've been working on. Last time I was trying to get the application working with Docker containers and they weren't successfully connecting. So that's the goal for today, is to get these connecting. And once I do, I might even deploy it to my Kubernetes cluster using Ansible. And if I get that far, then we should be able to start generating some playing cards here, which could be kind of cool. So I'm just going to add some logging into this out the gate. And let's see. So we'll use an environment variable for the path to the logging file. This just makes it easy to configure later on. And let's see, what else do we need? Doing these logging levels as an environment variable is also a good idea, but you have to do it as a number, and I might just hard code info in here while we're setting this up. And basically all I want to do is when we get this MariaDB error, I want to log it. I don't think those need to be in any particular order. I think this should be fine. I don't think I need to put this one second, but maybe I do. We'll find out. Actually, we should probably dot. Yeah, we'll just log the error, and it should write it to this varlog mine.log file. That should be all I need to do to get that working. We'll just build it and test it. Okay. So, once this container finishes building, which it has done, I'm going to start the two Docker containers here. The one on the bottom is going to be MariaDB. This is going to need to start first, and we need to have a few environment variables set. First, we need to turn on the random root password. You can also set a manual one, but I'm not going to use the root account at all for these testing things, so we don't need that. And MariaDB user and a MariaDB password. This is like a regular user that is going to be able to create tables and things like that. It's the one you want your application to use. So I gave it a username and a password that will be created by default, and I'm calling the container MariaDB, and it's running the default MariaDB Docker container. Up top, we have the WikiDeck application, and a few environment variables set as well. Difficulty requirement I set to 1 just to make mining very easy for this. DB user is the same. It's going to be WikiDeck, and then the DB password is the same as it is down here. So it should be able to connect, and these should be running on the default Docker network, which means that they should be able to reach each other just using their host names. So we see, if we come back over here actually, and we don't want the Ansible role, we want WikiDeck, and let's look at the database. And yeah, we can see our default hostname is just MariaDB, which matches the name that I gave it down here. So from what I understand, this should work, but it was not last time, and we'll see. See ya, ET. Thanks for joining. Once this gets cooking, looks like it's good. I'm going to run that. And we will try a curl command. Okay. That is good. That's actually quite good. It returned something. What did it return, though? Database.py. Is it the tabs? Tab error. Okay, that's an easy fix. That's an easy fix. We're just going to close that guy down. Stupid tabs. And I get them with this. All we needed. That's a little annoying that it's doing tabs like that. I need to configure Vim to not do that. Let's rebuild this container. While it does that, let's remove the old one. And let's run it again. That was a pretty good sign, though. Same problem. Permission error. Okay, it doesn't like that we are trying to put something in var log. Well, I could just change the permission of the log directory so that HTTPD could write there, but it should be able to do that. And also I wonder, where was it doing this? Doing this in the basic config. I could probably put it in temp. So let's actually, I just go back and look at my environment variable, mine log file. Let's just try putting it in temp, just for simplicity's sake. Stupefied Boyd, hey there. Actually come to, oh, hey there. Lagging is streaming a lot. Sorry about that. I don't have any dropped frames on my end. And let me check the admin page real quick. It looks healthy on my end. Sometimes people with slower connections can have trouble. This is all self-hosted, so sometimes there are issues and there are things for me to improve. Anyway, I'll just have to press on. These do get recorded, and I will be uploading this video into this, the actual pull request that I end up building here. So we'll see that in just a moment. And you were asking about low-level programming, or were you asking about peer-to-peer programming? Because I was talking about that with someone in a comment earlier today. Let me finish writing this. What's the problem? Oh. So we are actually, if you were the one asking about peer-to-peer projects, then this is that project. This is WikiDeck. This is a blockchain project. And right now I'm actually just trying to get it to run locally. So it's not peer-to-peer just yet. but making it peer-to-peer will be a project for the future. And here we can see the problem that I had last time. We're not getting that bug anymore, but it's just hanging here. And so we should be able to... Okay. Unknown server host, MariaDB. Okay, so it's not able to connect via that host name, which is kind of a problem. But our logging seems to have worked, so I am going to do something. I'm going to status. I think I don't want that. I don't know what that is. Actually, I think it's because I have this open. Let me quit that. There we go. Did not need to remove that. That was just Vim doing some stuff. One more time, look at this. Git ignore, mine, database. Yeah. Just do the diff just so we can be a little bit careful. Adding that. Yep. Our log stuff. Okay. So now I'm going to make a commit in this new branch, this develop branch. So what I'm showing right here, Stupefied Boyd, when I eventually create tickets that I am assigning to other people and asking them to work on, this is kind of the workflow that I'm hoping people will use. So we're going to create a PR here, and I'm working on a branch that is for a specific issue. The commit message that I want to leave is going to be this. We have solved this problem of the silent infinite loop. We've gotten those log messages. So the message is going to be closes. And we can just say number 6, but I want to be a little bit thorough in my commit messages, so I put the full reference right there. Now I can push this branch up here. And now when I come back to the WikiDeck repository, I should be able to create a new pull request. And that looks good. I'm going to change the name here to... What do I want to change it to? So the pull request, I've made a commit in the pull request that closes this issue, but the entire pull request is not just trying to close this one issue. The pull request is going to be for basically getting it ready for deployment. So we'll call it getting ready for a Kubernetes deployment. I can give it a milestone. We can put it on the beta testing milestone. And I'm just going to create this. So once this video that I am working on right now, this live stream is done, I am going to put it inside of this pull request. So you'll see a comment in this pull request that has this video in it. Also, that commit message that we made, this closes WikiDeck/WikiDeck number 6, links it to the issue. So once this pull request gets merged, this issue of silencing of this silent infinite loop will automatically be closed. So this makes the workflow of closing issues a little bit easier and also adds nice links into your pull requests so that you can find other things that are on this Git server. Okay, so we have successfully gotten that loop to stop being silent, and we now know that the problem is that it can't find that host of MariaDB. So what we can do, a couple things we can do. We might want to create a network in Docker. So if I go ahead and close these. Hey Logan, how's it going? Welcome. not really into low-level programming, but actually interested in such projects that can help me improve my programming skills. By the way, would like to tell. Complete new to me since I did his web development, that's to his framework. Yeah, that's perfectly cool. So one of the issues that I have right here of no homepage, this application, it doesn't really return anything visual when you visit it. So I'm actually hoping that someone will volunteer to do some web development stuff and give us a pretty homepage for this. And then if you're looking to learn some lower level stuff, as in like the peer-to-peer networking kind of things, we will get to that in this project later. So if you're looking for something to do now, this homepage would be a cool thing. And then once we get to the peer-to-peer stuff, I'll know to reach out to you and get some help on that. And Logan, the sauce is doing great. We are working on WikiDeck here. I've gotten a log message, so we are well on our way. Basically what I'm thinking at this point I need to do is either go ahead and just deploy this to Kubernetes, because it not being able to find this MariaDB hostname, that's kind of purely because I'm running it in Docker, and we can kind of skip solving that by just deploying it to Kubernetes where I know how all the networking works. Or I could go a little bit further and try and use a Docker Compose file. For the purposes of education, maybe we'll go ahead and look at the Docker Compose. So I'm just going to go to duck.ai. This is the AI chatbot that I like to use, and we are going to ask it to do something. Kill it. We're going to remove all of these. What's the problem? There we go. Okay, so let's look at a Docker Compose file. Do I already have one in here? I do. That's beautiful. Look at that. Let's see, what does this Docker Compose file do? Docker Compose is basically a way of defining, you know how I just ran two separate Docker containers over there, just split my command line and ran them separately, and it was like, I don't know who these are. So Docker Compose is a way for me to write in a YAML file that I want these two Docker containers to run together, and they should be able to network and all of that. It doesn't look like I have created a network for them on this, which may be a problem. And let me see. Let's also set this environment variable. Okay. This looks good. I might still need to... I'm not sure, but... I think I just need to do that. I might still need to create a specific network and attach both of these containers to the one network, but we'll see. Let's just do this. Okay. That seems to have actually worked. So it seems like we were able to connect to the database, and it just told us something was wrong. So let's actually go back and let's open up this one. What did it say? JSONify is not defined. So we're going to want... And I think I need to do flask.jsonify. Once you're done with this, can you share with me what you want on the home page so I can contribute? Yes. Yes, I will be able to show you that. What I'm going to do here, once I get these Docker containers running, I will demo the application so that you understand what's going on, and then it'll be a little bit more clear what would be on the home page. So yes, but let me get through this first, if you don't mind. I just need to do, I think it's flask.jsonify, because I don't do from too much. Oops. Not all of them were wrong. Seems like I only forgot it once. Okay. Looks like only one of those was missing. These have annoying names. Okay. Got to build. And run. Looks good. Untyped object is not iterable. Okay. We're doing okay here. So it turns out there are a few issues to go through here. So I'm just hitting the main route, which is trying to return what? db.get blocks. Okay. Yeah, so here's a good example of where the home page would come in. So here, when I have this Flask route of just basically accessing the root of the web page, this should return a home page. And instead, all it's returning is a JSON object. It's supposed to return a JSON object. This JSON object is going to return, is going to contain all of the blocks in the blockchain. And so what I would want for a home page is for it to take all of those JSON objects and make it into something pretty. So as it stands, this route will get a JSON object, but if you want to, what you could do is in this issue, I'll pull it up so you can see it. This issue, this no homepage issue on the WikiDeck repository, you could create a pull request where you would basically be adding, the HTML pages and that React stuff to take a JSON object and turn it into something on the page. And the same thing will apply actually for all of these routes, this /blocks and, a post request to /blocks, the /cards endpoint. So for each of these that are returning these JSON objects, I would like a web page that will display them in a nice way. And we will probably be able to do that with Flask itself by using Jinja templates and this render template function. So if you just make the HTTP pages with the React stuff in it, then we can work on getting those injected values later. So basically all you would need to do is like a React template that could take these JSON objects. You'll have to look at the structure of them to see what fields they contain. But yeah, that's basically what the request would be. Let me come back to what I was doing here. So since there is currently nothing in the database, it's actually throwing an error. And so what I want to do is I'm going to use the client. So in order to use this client, I need the virtual environment activated. We created this in the previous video. Okay, do we have our public key? We do. So it's just this. We are going to load our RSA key pair. Good. And let's just try and mine actually, no, yeah, I think we can. Let me exit. So I need to double check on the client. Let's look at the code there. What is the default URL? Yeah, localhost 8080. That's perfect. And yeah, that's all I need. So we're good. We're going to load our... I showed this in the last video, the workflow that we have here. You will create an RSA key pair with this client, and that's going to be your account on WikiDeck. It's just your RSA public key. You will save it to your desktop or wherever you like, and then, yeah, actually save both of them. You know, it's good to do. But then we're going to mine a block. Since there's nothing in the database, let's just try and mine a block. Let's load or generate an RSA key pair. I did load the RSA key pair. So it should be loaded. And now, okay, block successfully mined and submitted. So that's telling me that that worked. And so if I do my curl request again, last block is not defined. Okay, so we have some issues still. But it looks like something is actually going on here. Let me see. Where is last block? Last block is not defined. Okay, so here I accessed the blocks route, and it did return a block, so we do seem to have an origin block. It just doesn't like this main route, which is kind of not a huge problem at the moment. Why, though? db.get blocks. Where is it referencing that, though? Okay, well, I think the thing for me to do here is report an issue. Let's take out the -v too. Few errors here. Bet we can I don't remember the command. Oh, killing me. Oh, okay. That's right. The Docker compose file. What was the username and password? Mine and 123 ABC. Okay. So this is looking good. Let's double check a couple of things. Block hash 0023 and previous hash 0023. That's looking good. Difficulty of 10. Is that correct? That doesn't look right. Should be 1, but this isn't quite laid out well, so let's yeah, they all have difficulty of 10. Or is it no? Yeah. Anyway, the previous hash seems correct. Let me try and mine one more time just to see what that does. Now we have 3 blocks, 00E3D, 00E3D. Yeah, that part's working. But getting cards. I think actually that didn't quite work. Option number 7 doesn't really do anything. Mine.getCards did not return a response. I don't know that debugging this in real time is so interesting, but cards get. Uh-oh, looks like my camera has frozen. Okay, sorry about that. We had a camera issue, ran out of battery there, and that crashed my OBS thing. So let's hop back over here. What's going on here? So we are actually running into a few issues with the application itself, and I kind of need to debug those before I can make this available for others. So there's both issues with the client and the server. Let me go ahead and jot down a few issues here. So let's see. Oops. Let's just copy this whole thing. No point in not being verbose here. Add it to our milestone. Another issue. Maybe option 7 is failing because that route is returning an error. What was that issue we just created? Yeah, if this, I think that option number 7 was the get deck option, and if /cards is not returning anything, then that would be a problem. So this may be solved with that one, but for now we don't know. So I'll just mark that down. Testing. Yeah, okay. Worried that I wasn't getting audio there for a second. Okay. And this actually seems good with our Docker Compose stuff. So let's just close all of those down. I don't like that it's doing these swap files. That's annoying. So I'm making another commit, and I'm adding another commit message that we are now closing this issue, because we are now able to connect using that Docker Compose file. Now, whoops. Now if we refresh the issue, you should see a reference to the pull request. That's just the commit. Okay. We've linked the issue. Now, still having a few problems. I think what I want to do is take a little bit more look here while we're looking at it. Let's just see. Okay. I guess it's not sending the public key string. That could be a problem. Improve that later. Send it a status code. 500 for a server. That's not a 500 error. That is a client-side error. You sent me the wrong stuff, client. What is that? 400? Yeah, let's just give it a 400 for the time being. They were supposed to send a key and they didn't. It's just a generic. 400 is good. Okay. So, I bet if I just create my keys instead of trying to load them, that will work better. So, let's see. We'll go ahead and remove those. Build. Start. And let's try this client again. And I'm actually going to create, this is the full workflow that you can do to try this out for yourself. So we'll create a key pair. You can see that our key pair has been generated. We're going to save the private key, and we can save the public key. And now we can mine a block. Dang it. Oh. Does not match closing parentheses. My fault. My fault. Gotta do that again. I think we can just try mining the block. We already have our keys and stuff, so looking good. Block successfully submitted. Let's do one more. Looks good. Let's view our deck. Yeah, see, option 7 doesn't do anything. Cards endpoint, no public key. Oh, okay, well that kind of makes sense since I'm just using curl. I'm not sending any data. Interesting. Last block is not defined on the main route. DB.getBlocks. Last block is not defined. Nostalgic Lichtman, welcome. We are trying to debug my WikiDeck application. Basically working. The main routes, it's functional. If you actually start using the client, it works, but there are errors, and I'm trying to solve some of those errors before asking people to actually test this. Let's see. Okay, I think this is the one that's not defined. Blocks, last block. I just need to do. I think that these actually. Maybe that I think that I just was calling it the variable here last blocks, but I was meant to call it blocks, and I think the reason I did that is because everywhere else it's specifically referring to the last block. I don't know. Well, let's just press on here and hope that my quick fixes work. That's usually what coding is all about. We gotta build. And then we will run. See you, Nostalgic. Thanks for joining. And let's... we just do this? You have no cards to view. Okay, I see. I think that since we restarted it, at least that's working. So let's mine a block. Successfully mined and submitted. Successfully mined and submitted. Successfully mined and submitted. Let's view our deck. Dang it. Nothing. We can see our public key is in there. What did it return? It returned 200. I wonder if I can... Okay, that actually worked. When I just copy and pasted that public key into the URL like this, it actually returned the cards. And here you can see where the game actually starts looking a little bit more interesting. So again, this is the deck of cards that are owned by the player who has this RSA public key. And this person has generated 3 blocks on the blockchain, and so they have been awarded 3 cards. These cards have UUIDs associated with them, and then they also have a page ID. And this numeric page ID maps to a page ID on the Wikipedia API. So if you request this particular page ID from the Wikipedia API, we can actually do that. I'm going to exit this. I'm going to Python 3. So that was Punky Meadows. So from working on this blockchain and by generating those blocks, that RSA public key was awarded this Wikipedia page, Punky Meadows. And you can use that page ID to get lots of data about that page. And so like you can get the number of people who viewed it that month. You can get the number of other pages that link to this page. So basically the idea is that WikiDeck is just a trading card game for Wikipedia pages, and then we can build on top of that whatever kind of games we want. Just seeing your question there, Logan. Hopefully that explains it. Let me give a full synopsis just to be as clear as possible. WikiDeck is a blockchain application. You mine the blockchain via these different HTTP routes in that Flask application, and your reward for mining the blockchain is going to be a card, one of these JSON objects. That card contains that page ID to a Wikipedia page, and the goal is that we can make a trading card game about everything. And we can make whatever kind of games we want out of that. So maybe you are trying to collect sports cars, and so you have the category of sports cars Wikipedia pages, you are targeting those, and maybe you trade them, and maybe we value them based on how many views that page gets in a month. So getting the Aston Martin whatever car is more valuable this month than it was last month. We can kind of make up whatever games on top of this we want. So WikiDeck itself is just the basic blockchain that is used for generating these cards inside of blocks and then trading those cards via transactions, which you can see up here, number 6. So if there were another RSA public key on this network, I should be able to generate a transaction where I would send one of these cards by its UUID to another user. And so when they then curl this endpoint with their public key, it would say that they now are the owner of the card. So it's an NFT style blockchain. You get a Wikipedia page as your NFT, and the blockchain enables people to trade them around. It's built with Flask, so it uses HTTP routes for pretty much everything. And so actually at the moment, it's a centralized server, which is a little bit unusual for blockchains. In the future, I do think this will become a peer-to-peer application, but just as we're getting started here, it is not at the moment. So can't say I really subscribe to the root concept with blockchain and NFTs and stuff, but fair enough. Yeah, I mean, I'm not really asking people to subscribe to the root concept. This is just a game. We're just trading Wikipedia cards. Maybe in the future, people would want to pay money for one of these cards, but that's really not the exact goal here necessarily. More it's to work on a project and do something fun and organize a team of people to work on a software project and to learn interesting things while we do it. Whether or not we actually create a viable blockchain is almost beside the point. So I don't think it's bad or anything. It's just much, I don't get it. So, I mean, given that I have built one here and have built others in the past, I definitely do get it. But I can see what you're getting at. Basically, if let me see. Actually, this will be easy to see if we're going to curl. We're just going to curl the blocks endpoint, and I'm going to pipe that into Python 3-m json.tool, and then less. Is this just showing me the last block? I think it is. So yeah, this is a block on the blockchain, and here's how it works. It has a UUID. It contains a card. This is that Wikipedia card that I'm telling you about. This is the reward for it. It has a difficulty. It's not super important how these things work just yet. Basically, this hash is a SHA-256 hash, which is a hexadecimal number between 0 and 2 to the 256th power. And that hash is basically generated from this data. If you're not familiar with hashing algorithms, understanding those is kind of important to understanding blockchains. The way it works is that if you take this exact data and you pass it through a hashing algorithm, you'll get a result like this. And that result will be exactly the same every single time you pass this exact data into that hashing algorithm. If I change anything in this data, if I change this to 11, or if I take out one of the F's in difficulty, the entire hash is going to be completely different. And ideally, you will have no overlaps or conflicts with these so that no two sets of data have the same fingerprint. Basically, a hash lets you give a fingerprint for data. And in each block, I have the previous hash, each block as part of its data contains the hash of the previous block. So if this block contains transactions, and I want to change one of the transactions later and say like, oh, back there in the past, I actually didn't make that transaction. I understand how the blockchain concept works. I just mean We're using it in this context. Okay, well then I'm explaining to someone else at this point. I'll just finish the explanation and I'll tell you in a second. Yeah, so basically if you want to change any of the data in this, it will change the hash of whatever block you're editing, which means the previous hash of the next block will need to change, and you'll have to recompute the hashes for every single block, which is impractical. In terms of how what I am making works, basically we have an HTTP server that is going to be outsourcing the mining to clients. So my client here will, I'll say I want to mine a block. And so this client application goes to the web server and it says, okay, what's the last block in the chain and what are our pending transactions? HTTP server is going to send back that raw data for this client to put into a block and then mine. Once it mines it successfully, the server says, yep, you win, you've got the card. Having mined the block, I get whatever card has been generated from that, and all of the transactions of other users sending cards to each other have been entered into the blockchain. So that's the basic idea. And we're pretty close to it working here. There were a lot more errors today than I was hoping for. So I'll probably do another session of debugging maybe tomorrow at the same time, and maybe on my own some in the evenings. We'll see what I get up to. We don't know. But yeah, so let me finish off this pull request for today. And do I need to create any more issues? Let me see. Still have some issues here. The client, this actually, where did I write that down? I've lost my train of thought here. I don't know what I've successfully done on this at this point. I think we fixed this one. Okay. So if we look at our pull request, we have successfully created some log messages that make that infinite loop no longer silent. We can add more log messages in the future, which we will do. We have successfully gotten these Docker containers to talk to each other by using that Docker compose file, and the /cards endpoint is working. It is returning a valid response. Let's double check that just to make sure. No, it is not. It is not. Oh, that's because I shut everything down. Did I actually see one work? Yeah, here. When I manually did this, I was able to see my cards. But the client isn't working. So Client option 7 is broken, but the actual card's route appears to be working. Okay, so I am going to add this work in progress prefix because we are not done with this yet. I want to fix more of those errors. We will do that very soon. I will continue working on this probably tomorrow. And this live stream is going to be added into the comments right here. So once I finish streaming, which I'm going to do in just a moment here, I will add a comment with this video in it. So this is where that one will live. And I will pick this back up tomorrow. Hopefully by the end of the week, I will have this live and available for people to try and generate some cards, maybe trade some cards, and we'll see how we like the application. But until then, thank you very much for joining me. Thanks for being here, Logan. And Stupefied Boyd, I look forward to talking to you more. You might want to reach out on Matrix. We can talk more one-on-one there. But oh, we've had someone right at the very end. Gifted Archimedes, you joined at a terrible time. I'm just about to finish. We were working on WikiDeck, and the live stream recording is going to go right here in a comment. So git.eom.dev, wikideck/wikideck, pull requests. This one, it's this number 7, getting ready for Kubernetes deployment. I will put the recording of this video right here in a comment shortly. And I'll probably be working on this again tomorrow at 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Hopefully we'll get this deployed and available for you guys to try out. So cool. Thank you all very much for joining, and I will see you later. Toodaloo.